go ahead and soak this with simple syrup. You can see it's not really very thick. It's pretty liquid. But it's flavored with vanilla, and it's got some good flavor in it, so it's going to add to our cake. I put it on fairly liberal. I mean, I really do. Remember, once it's here and you're starting to ice, you're never going to move this cake again, except when you cut it. So you want to make sure that your cake, when you soak it, you're not going to have to move it again. Because it's really, if there's anything more delicate than a warm cake, it's a wet cake. You know, wet cakes are like really delicate. So once it's soaked, leave it there. This makes really nice moisture. I mean, it just does the trick. There are other ways of doing it besides using a brush. You can use a squirt bottle. Some people use a squirt bottle. There's a special squirt bottle just for cakes called a punch bottle. And I can bring some of those up. We can use those if we like.
Do you not go all the way to the edge?
I go pretty much to the edge. I don't want to dribble him over, you know.
Right.
But it will sink down in there and soak in like a sponge. So I'm not worried at all. I just don't want to get liquid all over the place. So as I'm looking at it, I can see that as I put it on here, it starts off kind of shiny, and it needs a few moments to sink in. But when you make a cake ahead of time like this, and let's say you're going to serve it later, that moisture has plenty of time to soak its way down through that layer, through those layers of cake. So by the time you actually serve it, this whole thing will be much more moist. And all that will be locked in with that buttercream. Buttercream makes for a really wonderful, kind of waterproofing to hold all that moisture in. It's going to be in between each layer, and it's going to soak, or it's going to be trapping that moisture in from the outside as well. So no moisture will get in from the outside environment, no moisture from the inside environment gets out. It's designed to kind of lock itself in as its own little space. Now, the old-fashioned way of icing cake is just to use your spatula, and that works just fine. Put a nice big blob of icing on there. I usually like to take it and spin it on like this. I basically just put my tool here in the middle, and I just kind of press gently, and I just let it ride its way out. I find that to be one of the quickest ways. If you have any areas that are uneven, you can always add a little more icing to make sure it's going to be, evenly spread. It's like a potter's wheel, works very well. If you have any doubts or anything, you can always make adjustments to the thickness of your icing so that it'll be even. From there, our next layer goes on. Notice one with a hole, I'll put that in the middle. It'll just sort of disappear. No one will even know it's there.
So you're not too worried about excess buttercream on the sides?
No, because we're going to be scraping that down and kind of spreading it on the sides anyway. So, not too worried at all about that. So, as far as that hole is concerned, yeah, just going to fill it up.
How many cakes are you making today?
Your goal is to make one good one.
I can do that.
I hope everybody makes one good
I
one.
can maybe do that.
Should just pour some chocolate down the whole chip.
Yeah, you could do that too. Any one of a number of fillings could go in there. Raspberry jam, things like that. That'd be really tasty too. But
That whole intentional, just pour it.
I know you guys meant to do
Fill it with, chocolate.
Now, I personally don't mind doing it with a scraper like this, like a spatula. This works just fine for me. But there are a lot of people out there who are cake decorators who like going a little faster. And what they use is a piping bag. And I will, in a moment, I'll get a piping bag and I'll show you how I do it on the next layer. So there's nothing wrong with doing it with a tool. This is the old-fashioned way.
Are you moving your knife towards you?
Yes, I'm actually gradually going from the inside to the outside. So you'll see that I just kind of start here in the middle, and I just kind of gently work my way to the outside.
You forgot the simple syrup.
You forgot to simple syrup that layer.
Did I forget that?
Yeah.
I forgot to talk.
He was too worried about filling that hole.
Yeah, I got to talking. That's all right. That's okay.
You've got that on tape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Dorothy gets all my mistakes on tape. And,
Good job, Dorothy.
I don't mind. I don't mind. You know, the thing is, you know, you guys are probably watching closer than I am sometimes because I'm busy talking and answering questions and all kinds of things start happening.
You should have been like, that was a test, guys. You were just testing.
So I try to get as much of that buttercream off so I can actually get some simple syrup to soak down in there. This one's remaining a little shiny on the surface because it's trying, the buttercream is resisting some of that, but it will get down in there. And the simple syrup is a little warm, so because of that, it's making this sink down in there really nice. Now you'll notice a couple of things just happened though. One, I got the buttercream off of there, soaked it, but I didn't put that buttercream back in my original container. And the reason I didn't is because when I did that, I pulled up crumbs. And I don't want to get crumbs back in my main container here. I would now refer to this as crummy icing. It's full of crumbs. And I want to make sure it's not going to get, I'm not going to accidentally put that on the outside layer of my cake. So I'll put that same icing right back on. There's a point at which we can use crummy icing all the way up to a certain point, and then we have to stop using it because our outermost layer cannot have crumbs in it. If I see crumbs in a cake on the outside layer, what that tells me is we got one of two problems. We got someone working sloppy or someone working unsanitary. And if a customer perceives that you're unsanitary, you can kiss your business goodbye. So make sure that you have a good clean looking cake so that people won't ever have any question in their mind about how you work, what your work habits are. Because a clean looking cake implies that you're being sanitary and that you're being, you've got a nice clean shop and you've got good work habits. So what's happening here is that simple syrup is making it hard for this buttercream to stick. So I'm going to go ahead and put that last layer on. Kind of center it up, make sure it's nice and square. I'm also looking at it horizontally here to make sure that it's going to be nice and level. I use a piece of cardboard to kind of press down lightly and give myself a chance to level that cake so it's just nice and straight. And we'll put simple syrup on here. I'm not going to forget this time.
And there's no hope.
Yeah, the simple syrup just makes everything really good. Now, of course, simple syrup, as I say, could be flavored with almost anything. So for vanilla cake, vanilla simple syrup, this is really pretty simple.
How many more calories are you adding to this?
Plenty. I mean, think about it. What is there, 16 calories per teaspoon of sugar? And I don't know how many teaspoons is the equivalent of, but you're adding sweetness, and when you're eating a piece of cake, are you really concerned about calories?
Just like the creme brulee.
It's just like drinking water. Just tell yourself that in the jar.
Just try to lie to yourself. Tell yourself that it's all okay. Remember, when you're eating cake, it is really about enjoying the cake. If you're so worried about calories, that means you're not enjoying yourself. Okay, I'm going to grab a piping bag.